So if you hold your E, you basically you have a water gun. So if you look at this for a second.
Pew pew pew.
Water tank.
Yeah.
That's cute.
It's actually that's
like
the
it.
most fun part. The burst is kind of like the animo main character burst, where you like have something and then it flies away from you, which is kind of stupid because if it flies away from you, then it stops hitting the enemies. So like that in itself is meh, but it's still fun, I guess. Anyways, okay, let me switch to
I see.
the food thingy, and then we can begin. So we will start our Fontaine journey right here someday, but like right now we haven't started the quest. Okay, everyone. Let me just pull up. Okay, everyone, welcome back to Genshin. It's been a while. It's been a couple months since both of us have been quite busy. And honestly, like, I haven't been playing a lot of Genshin. Like, I've played here and there, but at the middle to end of 3.8, it kind of became like a chore. It felt like it was very taxing for me, and I didn't feel like I was enjoying the game itself. So I kind of took like a 2-week long break and then came back and did the summer event, and it was actually more fun than I expected. It was very wholesome, it was very sweet as usual, but now that Fontaine has been released and I have Hydro Traveler, we decided to come back to talk a little bit about our stories with Genshin, like the whole timeline of how our relationship with the game developed, whether it be in the negative side or the positive side. And for Audrey, she joined the game way earlier than I did, so I'm going to let her speak on this first, as she's an earlier player of the game. But I would imagine that the stories are, or the timelines are going to be a little bit similar, because a lot of the friends that I know that do play Genshin or have stopped playing Genshin have had like a similar experience where they have like a sense of burnout, and it kind of gets like bigger and bigger with time, and then one day they decide to just stop for a while and then come back only for major updates like the one right now. So yeah,
Personally, I think the
you can
idea of things
begin
staying
your
the same
story.
forever is quite beautiful.
I was like waiting. Anyway, so I think I started playing around Huta first came out. So I still remember the first 5-star I ever pulled was Huta. I was like insanely lucky right when the game started. And like when I started playing, it was like during COVID, it was during lockdown, everything. I couldn't go out, so like I really treasure the memory when I just get to play games at home every single day and I don't have to worry about anything. But then like later on, kind of like I started university and I don't have that much time to actually play the game. And like I guess it's because after Liyue, like the rewards for exploring the map is really low, and like you kind of don't have the same incentive to do all of the work that you're doing, and you also don't have that much time. So like I slowly stopped playing. It was until my ex came along, and then I was trying to get him to play the game with me. And so that's when I started to play again, and also like we're doing the Genshin series later on. That's like the whole timeline thing. And I just don't feel the same kind of like motivation when I first started playing Genshin. Like when I first started playing, like I was like collecting characters, and I generally had a really good time playing with the characters. But then later on, I feel like it's just like there's so much content, and I just don't feel motivated to go through all the content. And sometimes I see an event and I don't even want to do it, and it feels really repetitive because I've been on this game for like 3 years at this point. I think I joined 2020, or like I think I joined in 2020. So like I am one of the first bunch to start playing the game. So like I would say like the only reason why I'm here, like that I still have this game on my iPad, is because, well, I'm filming a podcast with you, and I genuinely do still enjoy the form of doing a podcast while playing a little bit of Genshin. And the second point is I want to do the Archon quest because
Right.
I've been looking at the leaks for Fontaine, and it seems pretty interesting. And it seems like the country is based on like industrial revolution during the industrial revolution era of France, and there's like a lot of like social issues that they seem like they would go into, and so I'm interested about the quest itself. Like, if you ask me if like I am really interested in exploring the map or anything, like not really. Like I'm not even like halfway through with Sumeru, and I still have like some desert regions I haven't even unlocked, so I might do that just to get enough primos. But then it's like, other than that, like I think once I'm done with the Archon quest, I'm probably gonna go like off the game again. So like we'll see. It just feels like the charm of this game is not the same, and it just becomes so repetitive on a day-to-day basis that it just doesn't feel that appealing to me anymore. So like it's sad, I guess. It's like, what a shame, because this game have a lot of potentials and I really do genuinely love this game. It just doesn't feel the same anymore. Maybe I've grown up, or like, yeah, I don't know.
I think there are many reasons that people experience burnout. I think everyone has a different breaking point, like, oh, I've reached X amount of development on my account and I don't feel like I want to go further. Or in your case, it's more like, okay, I just don't find the content that they're releasing to be engaging and interesting enough that it will make me want to update every couple weeks and come back and like play long term and like explore everything again, because exploring in itself takes a lot of time, and that is the same for every single region, whether it's like a larger region like Sumeru or a smaller region like Mondstadt and Liga. It is the same, because it's gonna take a while, and it's not like a short while. It's not like you can just do it in one day unless you're like some sort of like epic gamer moment thing. But
Yeah.
it's just that when it comes to the exploration, because I've experienced this to some degree as well, I think that although I really do enjoy like the Archon quest, I really do enjoy a lot of the even the world quest, to be honest. I just didn't find the exploration to be motivating enough on its own for me to keep going, for me to keep trying to play this game and keep trying to feel motivated. Other than that, I'd say it's also because with the later regions, it got to the point where, okay, I was like, oh, let me just take like a minor break, and then suddenly when I came back after my minor break, there was like 10,000 pieces of content for me to do. And it's not that like I don't want to do them, it's more like it's just way too much, and then I feel pressured and stressed, so I don't feel like I really want to do them anymore, and that kind of leads to the initial phase of burnout. But later on it will develop into something more serious. Like I've been doing this for a while, like I've been farming artifacts for a while, and then suddenly it just feels like I'm farming artifacts just for the sake of like a mild 5% damage increase. And to be honest, that's not like a lot.
I get it.
And like that in itself has like, how do I say this, has given me the push towards burnout. And the words that you use, Audrey, in your description for your relationship with the game is actually a lot, or ironically, a lot like an actual romantic relationship that didn't work out, because you initially have the phase of like, oh, I'm enjoying this, I like this, and then suddenly you're like, wait, something feels a little bit off, it doesn't feel as, as refreshing as it did, and it doesn't feel as like good as it did, or something like that.
And it just feels really mundane.
Yeah, and then after a while it becomes repetitive, you don't feel like it's making you feel like fulfilled, like, and it's not meeting your needs and stuff like that. So like one of the main things I want to bring out is that actually like with Genshin Burnout, a lot of it does share qualities with an actual like human and human relationship. That is pretty interesting to think about, because you don't normally immediately think of it that way. You think of it as just like, I'm playing a game and it's not good right now, therefore I don't want to play it. But for me at least, once in a while I do feel the, not obligation, but like just kind of the need to come back for a while, you know, like just to see like, oh, is anything like important going on, anything interesting going on, stuff like that. So that is what I would characterize as my relationship with Genshin. It's just kind of like on and off, come back once in a while, for like the bigger updates or for like characters that I really want. And yeah, like for Abyss sometimes, because I do like some end game content, and that's the only form that we have now. But even that eventually got too boring for me to do. Like, I have characters that can clear Abyss pretty easily, and so it got to a point where it was no longer like fun for me, because like what's fun about Abyss in the past is that it was a challenge and it was new and it was refreshing. But after so many cycles of 36 starring and just kind of like realizing that that in itself is not enough for me to be 100% motivated to play this game anymore, that was very hard for me to accept. I did not want to accept it. I did not want to think about it in that way. I just wanted to keep playing. And like, although that was like my ideal, like what I wanted to do, reality is often not very respectful of your ideal situations. And so
yeah.
After a while, it just got too much, and I took like very intermittent breaks. Like I would say I would take like a week or two break every month or so, just to kind of preserve my like well-being, like in terms of like my mental well-being, because this game has like negatively affected it. Obviously like 90% of the time it is a positive influence, but because of the burnout, because of this loss of motivation, I think it's become slightly on the negative side for these past couple of months, especially since Sumeru dropped in 3.0, which is a long time ago, and I already did all the quests. And I've like, for the world quest, since I don't really like doing a lot of puzzles myself, I watched a lot of people play through them, and it was interesting to learn about the lore. But that was basically, I was done by by 3.5 around that time. I would say I was done by everything. And at that point I was like, okay, now we just wait for 4.0, I guess. And yeah, that's what I did.
Clear weather all around, bright and
Eyes here. Oh my god, this map is huge. Sorry. I'm like
Right here.
just
Emerge.
oh my
Right here.
god.
Order, guys.
Sorry. This is very
It's just,
new to me.
it's very,
Show them. Right now.
it's very disappointing in a
Genshin
sense. Like, I really thought that it wouldn't be like this. I really thought that I wouldn't be a victim to burnout. I thought that I could just like kind of force myself or push myself.
Well,
But
what do
I
we
made a
have?
short about this a while ago, and of course, like, thank you for the like crazy amount of like attention that I got on both Instagram and YouTube and all that shit. But I think people liked it or watched it because it was true. Like, it was very much relatable to a lot of people, and that's why I kind of wanted to make this episode, because if it's relatable, then that means I'm not the only one, and that kind of makes me feel better. Yeah. It was just that I wanted to sort of bring this out as a result of the popularity of the recent short or reel, depending on which side you guys watch it on, about Genshin Burnout, and I think it's because so many people relate, and that's why I want to make this Genshin episode, because I feel like if so many people relate, then why not like have a conversation about it and share our experiences, and hopefully like some of you relate to the specifics as well. And like, even standing here looking at like as just a normal like world challenge thing that's like right in front of us right now, I think that I didn't even have the motivation to do that when I was like burning out, and that goes to show that the level of burnout is not something that is very low. Obviously, it's not something that's very pleasant to experience. And so yeah, that's my general timeline. It's just kind of like I had this initial discovery of the game, and at the start I actually didn't like it that much, but later on I got really into it. And then there was a time where I was like a very hard grinder person, And like I started to like grind up all my characters and like make sure I have all the materials, the right builds, and all the characters that I liked. And after that sort of started to fall off, I think around just before Sumeru came out. And after Sumeru came out, there was a good patch because there was a lot to do, and Sumeru was a very good patch, honestly. It gave me a lot of like good new content. Art conquests were amazing. The characters released, like Milu has been one of my favorite characters even up until now. Tignutty is also fine. Like, those are great, but around 3.5, that's when it started to fall off in interest and in motivation. So yeah.
In the region, like there's like it's just not rewarding.
The way the world works.
Like I feel like Liu was like probably the best zone to play through, or like the map to play through, because you generally feel like you're being rewarded. In Sumeru, you're just like, oh, it's just all common chest. Like it doesn't feel like it's worth it to even try. And like at some point, you kind of like capped the possibility of what your team comms can be and how like in experimenting they can be, and so you're just like, oh, it's the same thing over and over and over again. Like, yeah, I may be using new characters, but like it just feels very similar.
Gotcha.
And you're not getting that much reward anyway, so like why do you bother to like try?
I think because based on my experience in Sumeru, the chests that you get in the overworld just for like, you know, defeating monsters are often common chests. That is true. The places that you would normally like, or the places that you would get exquisite chests or above, they require, first of all, a lot of them are underground. So if you don't explore that much, then you don't know where those are. And then in the underground, they're often also a result of puzzles. And I'm not always someone who really enjoys doing puzzles. Like as a baseline, I don't like doing them. And more than that, it's just too much trouble just to go through for like 2 primo gems. Like, yeah, that is one of the major reasons I started burning out as well, because it just like, it didn't feel like, okay, it didn't feel as easy and like as fun. I get that some people do want a challenge and I respect that, but unfortunately for me, I like easy and straightforward and brain dead gameplay. Even with like the characters, right? I don't like pulling for characters that require a lot of like complicated gameplay and like I need to have to do this in this sequence to make it work. Like, I like straightforward playstyles, and some parts of Genshin have become something that is not that, unfortunately, and so that kind of bothered me.
Osmanthus wine tastes the same as I remember.
Oh my god, the animation for Raiden is so cool. I have to see that again. Wait. Oh. I think another thing that we can touch on in this episode is how our Genshin Burnout played into our Honkai Star Rail obsession. Now, it's more like it really didn't start as an obsession for me. I think in the beginning, I honestly didn't think much of it. I just thought of it as another variant of Genshin Impact, and honestly, I didn't feel that excited about it. But after a while, I was like, oh my god, hold on, this is actually fun. And then I started to like it, and then after a while, I started to love it, and then it became an obsession. It was more like because it was such a good way to have a breath of fresh air from Genshin, and like a lot of the times, that in itself is already like a very motivating factor for me, because the main problem I have with Genshin, as touched on earlier, is that I didn't feel motivated anymore. I didn't feel like there was a lot to work towards, and that's something of a requirement for me in games. And so Star Rail gave us a new way of playing, right? Turn-based. A much more like easy way of playing, because there's the auto battle feature, although sometimes unreliable.
But I feel like the puzzles for Honkai Star is much easier
Yeah.
than Genshin. Like, at least in Genshin for like Sumeru maps and like maybe Inazuma. Because like I would say Inazuma maps, like the puzzles there are quite difficult. And I would say like Honkai started as a joke because you keep saying like, oh I love the game, oh I love the game, like I want to play with you, so I download it as a joke so I can play with you. And then we realized you can't do like multiplayer. And so like after that I just had some time after my midterm and I didn't really have anything to do and I didn't want to go back on Genshin. And so I actually started playing Honkai Star Rail again as a joke. And I actually grew to like it. Surprisingly. I wasn't really expecting that. But like I can't believe I finished grinding all the storylines and everything. And it felt really good because first of all, like I feel the same, not like I guess not the same level of motivation, but at least some motivation to explore the map and like kind of look around and find chests and everything. Like at least feel motivated to do so. Like that was one of the things that started me on Genshin. Like not just with friends, but like at least to walk around the map and kind of enjoy the gameplay a little bit. And I really find that kind of feeling with Honkai, which is kind of surprising. And also I feel more motivated. The gameplay is easy. Sometimes if I have to do something, I can just put it on autoplay. And sometimes like when I actually want to try out new characters, like I can do that as well. Like I have the option to switch around. Where are you going? And also I don't know, like I just feel like the game for Honkai is more welcoming than Genshin at this point. Which is, like, I don't know how to describe it. And it's also really weird because I never thought I would like Honkai Star Rail because I always think that they're really time-consuming games. And it takes a lot of effort to play, especially for Genshin. Like, I actually did grind. Like, I never actually grinded for a game. Genshin was the first one to actually did research and, like, was looking for, like, how to get better artifacts and stuff. Not that I'm really that invested, but, like, at least it gave me passion to at least try for a game. And I feel like I'm getting that with Honkai Star Rail as well. And it's because, like, you already played so much, I sometimes just ask for you if, like, a certain character is good or not. Like, so it, like, saves me brain power as well. And I don't know, like, I'm genuinely glad that Honkai Star Rail is Honkai Star Rail because, my friend had played Honkai Impact and they really liked it, but, like, the style for Honkai Impact is just not really my thing. So, like, I never really gave it a shot. But, like, now that I have Honkai Star Rail, I just might give Honkai Impact a try. But it also depends on if my iPad can handle all of the storage. Like, I think one of the main problems is that, like, Genshin takes up, like, 30 gigabytes of my storage, and then, like, Star Rail took up the rest of, like, I think, like, 15 gigabytes at this point. And so, like, I don't even have enough space to download anything else. And so, like, that is one of the main issues with, like, Hoyoverse and their games. Like, I get it, the visuals are stunning, and I really genuinely do appreciate it. But it's just like, oh my god, like, the amount of storage it takes, and, like, you have to have everything downloaded, or else you
literally
can't
cannot
play the
open the game. Yeah, like, it doesn't
Yeah.
let you. It's just
And it
like,
takes
oh, no,
forever.
yeah, no, it's no. And so
It's
that,
to download everything.
yeah, that is definitely an issue that, like, I didn't really like of happening as well. Like, I think
Take it easy.
most of the time with people who are not playing on PC, who do not have access to maybe, let's say, like 1,000 gigabytes of storage, it's not ideal to have one game take up like 60 to 70 gigabytes, which is what Genshin is taking up for me. And
Jesus.
Yeah, so like in PC terms, like because I actually recently have upgraded my storage on my PC. Like I used to only have 200 gigabytes, so that was not nearly enough to envelop the massive amounts of storage you would need for both Honkai Star Rail and Genshin Impact. And keep in mind that Honkai Star Rail is just starting out. It's not even halfway there. We're not even close to that. And so even then, I was already running out of storage. I literally could not update my game. And so I had to run out and get an upgrade, obviously. But that was like also one of the struggles for me. But back to the topic at hand. I think Honkai has given us a refreshing experience, new characters, new storyline, and they improved on a lot of the issues that people had with Genshin Impact. And so that's why, for me, it felt very much better and very much more motivating to play. And the auto battle feature, I abuse it. Like I go on break at work and I just hit that auto battle button and just watch while the enemy gets defeated. And that is also very nice. It's like a big plus because sometimes you just don't feel like using your brain and you just want to like get the resources, but you just want to put your phone down and just do something else. It's very useful. And although sometimes my phone does drain battery quickly, that's not much of an issue for me. Like I think there's always ways to circumvent that by just bringing a power bank, like bringing a charger with you. And yeah, so like I think for Honkai Star Rail, it's more like I found the story to be engaging, the characters to be engaging, everything's just like more exciting than 3.x Genshin. I don't know about 4.0 and going forward because like I haven't done the quest, I haven't explored any of the region, I have not done that much yet. But I can only speak for like the past 3 months have been really tough with me in Genshin, and there were points where I considered permanently leaving, but I didn't want to do that because I still have, again, it's like a romantic relationship. It's like I've been in this quote-unquote relationship for years now, and I don't want to just give up on it so easily. It's like that mindset. And so yeah, I mean, like with Honkai Star Rail, like I have actually been uploading way more videos recently about Honkai Star Rail comparatively to Genshin Impact, but there will be the rest of the summer event coming later on. I'm working on editing that, but since it's like a very long event, it will take a while to edit. But for the Star Rail videos, I've been trying to get more short form videos out. Like recently there was the Dan Heng video thing where Dan Heng is literally my favorite character, and I was like, okay, let me do a showcase because like for Honkai Star Rail, like I was like, I really wanted Dan Heng to be good, even though he was like a starter character given to us. Like I didn't really care about that. I just really wanted him to be like the best he could be, and that's why I sort of like made sure that like I put a lot of resources into him. And after a while, it started to show. Like it started to show the dedication that I put into him was like worth it. And so I was like, okay, let me just like do a little showcase in Simulated Universe. And it actually went pretty well, but yeah, check it out if you haven't seen it yet. But yeah, for me, that's like me and Honkai Star Rail. I do intend on consistently being a more like a Honkai Star Rail video maker, I guess, whatever. But like, it's just because that game is more engaging right now, and I want to stick more with that game. And because of the timing of me like starting to upload out on a consistent basis lined up very well with Star Rail's release, that's what I'll be planning on doing. So let's hope that Honkai Star Rail does have some form of co-op. The only form of thing that I can call co-op or any interaction between players is that you can add friends, and also you can borrow other people's characters, and like that has been very helpful for me because sometimes you don't have that element with you. The game is just starting out and the roster is very limited. So like you sometimes, I think one of the elements that I consistently don't have access to is imaginary, like the yellow one. And so like I never have an imaginary character. And so like it's just, in that case it's very nice to just borrow somebody's like welt or something. And but now I do have one. Like I pulled, not pulled, I think I got Yukong from the event, I think. And like she's like my only imaginary character currently. But she's already very helpful. She's like a buffer. I think that's very nice. Yeah. let me just make sure that there's an actual picture on the screen. So yeah, let me just redo that again because the recording fucked up and now we're doing this again. Basically, the point of the episode is to bring out the details of our stories and hopefully make some of you relate and resonate to it, because I know that a lot of Genshin players have been experiencing burnout, and it's not like an uncommon thing, it's not like an isolated issue, it's like a shared issue for a lot of people. And hopefully it'll get better with Fontaine's release, and I honestly hope that a lot of you are like feeling Fontaine, are like thinking like, okay, Fontaine is gonna be like the thing that's gonna come together and make us all feel motivated again. I genuinely hope so, but only time will tell. Also, when it comes to when I would recommend people to just take a break from Genshin is, let's say that you log on to Genshin and the only thing that you do is clear resin and do your dailies and log off. That doesn't feel like something that is super motivating. That doesn't feel like something that's super interesting. And if that doesn't excite you, like genuinely excite you, then it's more of a chore. And at that point, I would definitely recommend that you take a break, because if you push yourself too hard, you will start to hate the game. You will start to not like it. And at that point, then you'll likely quit, and I don't think that's the outcome that any of us want. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed the Genshin episode this time, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Hopefully it'll be sooner than later. Bye.
Bye.